Okay, so I can start.
Yep, go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I'd like to call the Palolo Neighborhood Board number 6 to order at this time. It is 7:05 p.m. and we had a few technical difficulties. And I thank everyone for their attendance today. I just wanted to shout out to any veterans that served our country because I attended a Veterans Day celebration today at the Lanakila Senior Center. And the freedoms we enjoy are so precious, and we want to thank all of our veterans. So let's give a big hand to the veterans out there. And happy Thanksgiving as we start our meeting. Not a turkey, hunters.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, I'd like to begin with our monthly report. So can we have the Honolulu Fire Department?
What's your name now?
Please.
Joe. Captain.
Oh,
Captain.
good evening. So yes, this is Captain Lau over at the Palolo Fire Station First Watch. And I'm just going to read out the statistics and then our fire tips. So for October 2023, we had 2 nuisance fires, 1 activated alarm, and as far as medical emergencies, 4 medical emergencies, 4 motor vehicle collision or crashes. And then as far as our safety tips, coming into the holiday seasons, we want to make sure that everyone is safe this holiday season. Thanksgiving is the peak day for home cooking fires, with more than 3 times the daily average for such incidents. Christmas Day and Christmas Eve rank 2nd and 3rd, with both having nearly twice the daily average. Unattended cooking is by far the leading contributing factor in cooking fires and fire deaths. Make sure to stay in the kitchen and focus on the food that you're going to cook so that we can come over and join you folks for dinner. Stay in the home when cooking turkey and check on it frequently so you don't dry it out. If you want a fried turkey, purchase it in a grocery store, restaurant, or buy a fryer that does not use oil. Turkey fryers that use cooking oil are not safe. These fryers use large amounts of oil at high temperatures, which can cause devastating burns, and we have seen those before. Consider purchasing an infrared fryer, air fryer, or electric turkey fryer that has been listed by a qualified testing laboratory. Again, do not leave any of your cooking unattended. And if you've got any great recipes and are willing to share it with us, we'd be more than happy to receive those. Other than that, any questions?
Okay, do we have any questions from our board? Any,
Somebody else did something.
okay, Earl?
Captain,
Yes, sir.
I meant to meet you in Palolo. You stationed in the Palolo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because okay. So what I wanted to tell you is that when you get an emergency call, the Palolo Chinese home,
Yes.
they always come up mostly 10th Avenue. So what I'm trying to say now is that when they make the turn, don't turn them off until they in the property of Palolo Chinese home. It's a big turn over there. Okay? So the cars that coming around, if you get the siren on, you get guys, supposed to be 50 miles an hour, but they're going fast. I live right across there. So I always see the cars, you know what I mean? So what I want is that you understand is when they come up, they ring the siren, and then they're making a U-turn, the right turn, leave it on until the inside of the Chinese woman home. So you want the guys who coming around the turn, You understand?
So we do use our siren to notify people that are in the area and to other drivers. We also do our best not to make a nuisance of ourselves, and we try to cut the alarms when it's a little bit later at night so as not to wake everybody up. But I do understand your concern. I will talk with the other captains to see what they believe about that. However, yes, once we get off the main road, that's usually when we do cut that particular siren.
Because I can understand when if you do go on a flat road, before you reach the house, you can turn them off. But that's a bad turnover. It's supposed to be 15 miles, and you're going 25 or 35 miles. So, so you get your siren on until you turn inside. So the guys that not paying attention can hear the siren and stop one time. A lot of people going fast. They're going about 30 miles. Okay, but I live right over there. I always started this up. I don't want to see any of the firemen get hurt. Okay?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we are all about safety. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Earl. Any questions from our public? Okay, seeing none, thank you, Captain Lau, for your
No more
report.
question from firemen.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, Captain, see you on by.
All right.
So I'll now call on the Honolulu Police Department. Do we have a representative here?
We Captain Nakamura, Lieutenant Nakamura.
Let's,
Maybe
if they
double
appear,
that.
we'll get them later in the agenda,
Yes.
Chair.
Okay, we will double back for the Honolulu Police Department should they arrive. So at this point, no report. Okay, Honolulu Board of Water Supply, and I have Dominic here. Dominic,
Right up here, Dominic.
so he should talk into this.
Fine, I can just speak up.
Okay.
Thank you. Is that loud enough? If I speak like that? All right. Good evening, board members. Dominic Diaz, Honolulu Board of Water Supply. Looking back at the month of October, we did have one main break in the valley, October 25th. This was a 12-inch ductile iron main fronting 1530 10th Avenue. I spoke to Earl and he has some concerns about the patch there, so I will take a look at that and report that back to our group as well. We do have two upcoming construction projects, neither of which has started, so they're both pending a start date. These are the Waiomau 8-inch water main project, as well as the Palolo Water System Improvements Part 3. So I will report back to the board every month with a status on both of those projects as well. Quick couple general announcements. The Board of Water Supply is proud to announce that we've launched our 2024 poster contest, poetry and poster contest. The poster portion is open for students in grades K through 6, and the poetry portion is open for students in grades 7 through 12. This year's theme is Our Water, Our Home, and the deadline to enter is February 28, 2024. For more information on this contest, you can visit our website, www.boardofwatersupply.com/WCW contest. Lastly, I wanted to announce that the Board of Water Supply is participating in the Honolulu City Lights Parade. The event is Saturday, December 2nd. It starts at 5:30, fronting Honolulu Hale, and the lighting of the Christmas tree will happen at 6 p.m. So come down and join everyone for that event. And before I introduce our manager for an update on Red Hill, I'd be happy to take any questions on behalf of the Board of Water Supply at this point.
Any questions?
The only one I get, you know about the patch, it's very,
Yes,
very
yes, I
bad,
got
too, on 10th Avenue.
Questions?
Any question?
So
Questions from our public?
questions? No? So last month, there was an inquiry on the status of Red Hill. You know, I've seen on the news the defueling, and there was a request for an update, and we are lucky to have our manager and chief engineer, Ernie Lau, here tonight to give us an update on that. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Members, thank you, Chair, Mao and board members. I'd like to also introduce some of my staff that are here tonight. I also have my deputy manager, Mr. Erwin Kawata. Erwin and I have been on the Red Hill issue since 2014. We have nothing, no continuity, get our applications off. Stella Bernardo, our vote commissioner. The Waterworks Controller, Mr. Joe. And also acting head of our Capital Projects Division, J.D. Dorison. So the upcoming two water system improvement projects will be overseen by our Capital Projects Division. So just a real quick update on Red Hill. Remember, before October, there was still 104 million gallons of diesel and jet fuel sitting in underground tanks built during World War II 100 feet above our drinking water aquifer in that Palolo area. I'm glad to report that the Navy, which started refueling around October 16th or so, last month, they've refueled or removed fuel by gravity refueling about 79 million gallons of fuel. So they're at about 76%, a little over 76%, over 104 million gallons. So there's still about 24 million gallons left to be refueled. Under gravity refueling, which is the mission of the Joint Task Force Red Hill, dedicated to refueling, they are going to refuel most of the fuel, but not all of the fuel. When they're done, which will be probably around March or April of next year, there's still going to be about over 30,000 gallons of residual fuel and some sludge in the bottoms of the tanks still to be removed from the facility. And that'll be done, what I understand from the Navy, under the closure process. Work to close the facility permanently. They'll take out the last few drops through. So that's the status right now. And I just want to say mahalo for all your prayers that this proceed without mishap, and that the Navy does and the Joint Task Force does a good job. They seem to be very focused on their mission right now. We just got to keep on praying that it's going to be completed with no further leaks. Even after defueling, though, and the remove that residual fuel, there's still what has been released over the 80-year history of this World War II facility. It's been storing fuel there deep underground at Red Hill, at Pukaki, for 80 years, and it has leaked in the past. We think at least 180,000 gallons, maybe more over its history. So there's the long-term process of cleaning up the environment, cleaning up fuel that's been released from the environment, that's got into the groundwater aquifer, or it's above in volcanic rock above the aquifer that's still there that needs to be addressed. So we are going to continue to stay on this issue because it'll take literally probably years and years, maybe decades to accomplish. So that's the latest update. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions from our board? Juanita?
Question, one of my questions are, when you say there's all this environmental concern of the leakage. And so does that include, or was the water line also inclusive of where the fuel line is running? Were they running perpendicular, like one above the other at all? Or
Yeah, you mean the water supply
water line?
water pipe, which is about 42 inches in diameter. Actually, it's so if you picture the tunnel being this rolled up paper here, and carrying the fuel pipelines from the tanks toward Pearl Harbor, about 3 miles, over 3 miles distance. When the facility, when Halava Chef was built, they crossed in another separate tunnel above the fuel tunnel, containing the fuel pipelines. And there is a side tunnel that connects the two together, and an emergency connection that was installed around 1940s, in the 1940s. So that valve stays closed. But the fuel leaks would affect the lower tunnel where the fuel pipelines are. It would not affect our pipeline tunnel that goes under the ridge there at Red Hill, all the way till it surfaces near the Palolo mountains. So it carries that 42-inch pipe, which used to bring water from Halava Shaft, the water supply Halava Shaft, to be pumped all the way to Honolulu to help meet the needs of Honolulu where we live. That water source still remains shut down. So the pipeline is actually taking water from our Mauna Loa wells, which is closer to Mauna Loa Middle School and elementary school. And water is actually pumped backwards to feed Halava industrial area.
And so again, the water lines, it looks like the fuel line and the water line
They,
cross at different places?
yeah, the fuel lines are down here and above it in a separate tunnel is the water supply water line. So if the fuel leaks out of that pipe, it'll go down toward the aquifer below.
And that's the, and do you know what the thought is because of the fact that it's leaking down into the aquifer? What kind of potential dangers?
Yeah, so that's the risk, so between the bottoms of the tank and the top of the aquifer, or what we call the water table, there's about 100 feet of lava rock that's not saturated or not underwater. So we think that past fuel releases from this facility, from the tanks or pipelines, could be still hung up in that unsaturated rock, almost like hung up in a sponge, and then grab and continue to release and drip down into the water table in the aquifer. So what we are saying, and we're asking the regulators and the military to address that, to do what they call remediation, to clean it up. Because it's not acceptable just to empty the tanks, close the facility. That's a good thing. Because we don't want this situation to ever be repeated in generations and generations. But you have to clean up the mess that this facility has created to the environment. And still, those releases, at least 180,000 gallons, maybe even a lot more. We don't know exactly for sure.
So similar to like how we have protection, like Palolo, and you know how remediation went with the military, there were funds set aside, or there were all kinds of different things that we could look to for the future so that they don't have to deal with this problem and the ones there to be responsible. So are there things like that going on right now in the discussion?
I think that is the big question. So they're gonna defuel most of the fuel by maybe March or April next year. There'll still be a small amount that'll take maybe 3 years plus to get rid of. And then the facility shut down. But it's the cleanup of the environment and the groundwater after that. And that is something that is going to probably occur over maybe 2 decades. Now, how do you sustain that? How do you hold the military accountable? And that's the thought is, how do we do that? That'll maybe span another generation to get done. And to stay focused on that, and not let people forget. Because I am not going to be there for 30 more years. But how do we pass that? Sure, there's some kind of body or group that's going to help to continue to provide oversight and keep the military accountable and work with the regulators to continue the cleanup. That, and I don't have the answer right now, but that's the questions we're asking. How do we sustain this beyond our generation to the next, maybe even the next generation?
And we still aren't that sure about the aquifer below, if there's movement or any kind of.
Yeah, one problem is, one way to figure out what has reached the underground aquifer and is in the water itself and moving with that groundwater is to drill test wells, what we call monitor wells. And right now, there's not enough monitor wells spread out across Palolo Valley to give us a better sense of what's happening deep underground. And picture this too. If there's a fuel leak on a ship off the Waikiki beach, if they leak fuel off of there, it'll show up on the beach, you can see it. But what's happened at Red Hill is you've got the equivalent of 20 large tanks, almost like 20 large tankers underground, standing vertically, and they've leaked in the past. Now, you can't see it. So how do you tell? You have to drill enough wells. That's part of this idea of getting an true picture of what's happening deep underground, maybe hundreds of feet underground. And more wells need to be installed.
And that will be at the cost of the military people?
We feel it should be at the cost of the military. Or the water supply, we're taking some actions right now because we know that to get all those wells drilled and tested, it's probably gonna take years and years to happen. And we are not waiting. So we got 3 wells shut down. We're not waiting years and years to learn whether or not we can turn them back on safely or not. If the aquifers contaminated, fuels moving across Palolo Valley from the east side to the west side, we're already looking for replacement wells to develop replacement well capacity. And we feel because it takes so many years to find a new well, pick a spot, drill the well, test it, and then build the production facility. And that whole process to go through that permitting, design, and construction takes a long, long time. That we cannot waste the time that we have right now. We have to proceed, and that's using Board of Water Supply funds. But I want to assure you, we are going to pursue cost recovery. We're keeping track of our costs related to Red Bull. And we've already said, I've said this before, we're keeping all our options open to pursue costs because ultimately it was created by this federal facilities and not created by our ratepayers and customers. But for now, we got to front some of that cost until we can get the federal dollars to start flowing into the Board of Water system.
So is that gonna impact the households and communities that have to pay their water bills? Will there be lights or rates?
Yeah, that's actually the next presentation. Yeah, it's a good bridge to the next presentation. I'll leave that with you.
Yeah.
Yes, but I also want to point out too, this proposed water rates that we're going to be talking to you tonight. Red Hill is not the only driver for the need to increase water rates. It is a portion of it, but it isn't all the reason why we're increasing water rates.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Terrific. Thanks.
There further questions?
Thanks so much.
Ernie, doing a good job, all this stuff here, what I mean, you watching out for the bottom side of it. But the thing that you go and make sure that the Navy pay for everything, you know what I mean? Don't let them talk to you now. You want that, so the people who are gonna pay for that, well, actually, the Navy is responsible for everything. And do everything what you gotta do. You're doing a good job,
Thank you.
and you gotta cost more money. The Navy got, that's no if for buts, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay? And thank you for doing a good job.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Shiraki. Thank you
Really
so
good.
much.
And Garrett?
Yes, so just kind of on the idea of getting federal funds to help support this project. I know that the Build Back Better legislation earmarked federal funds, I guess, to fix pipes to help with kind of the infrastructure regarding water for communities. Do you know, are those funds still available? Is that a potential
Yeah,
source?
I think there's still funding available and I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's also going through the state revolving loan fund or revolving fund process that the EPA and our Department of Health puts and provides low interest loans or sometimes grants to utilities to improve the water system infrastructure. There's also the Infrastructure Investment in Jobs Act, IIJA or something, another federal program. Some of it is also, I think, addressing emerging contaminants and providing funding opportunities for communities dealing with emerging contaminants. Like PFAS is the latest one that maybe by the end of the year, the EPA will actually pass new regulations or drinking water standards for that. So we're still looking. And one thing I want to say too, we know that the way forward is that we need to look for funding outside the Board of Water Supply customer base. That the Board of Water Supply customers are facing costs that are not going to go away, and they're actually getting more challenging with the pandemic and other things that happened. We didn't expect this 10 years ago, but we have to go pursue federal funding opportunities, especially federal funding. So that's an effort that we're going to continue and be our mode of operation seeking federal funds. And I do want to thank the Honolulu City Council and the mayor for the American Rescue Plan Act fiscal recovery funds. We basically are getting And this is to actually do CIP projects for infrastructure. About $42 million in federal grant. Then last session, our state legislature, and this one, mahalo them, they provided $10 million in CIP funds. Basically, they're gonna vote bonds at the state level, have the state pay back the debt service, not the Board of Water Supply customers, but $10 million that will be used for monitor wells for Red Hill and also drilling of an exploratory well for a new source. So we are pursuing external funds.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
it's good.
Good.
Okay,
Doing a good job.
there's no further questions, and thank you,
Thank you, Ernie.
Attorney Lau. And I don't know if you folks know, but I
We
retired at the water supply under Ernie. So these are like family to me. But you're doing a great job, and our board really appreciates you coming today too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Chair.
thank you. Let's give them a hand. Okay, at this time, we're gonna take a recess. We have some technical issues that Logan will assist us with, so.
One, two, three, testing, testing,
Yeah.
testing. Testing, testing.
He does. It's better.
Thank you, Logan,
You're welcome.
whatever you're doing.
For the book of 4 hours.
Well, here we go.
Thank you. So Earl, just make sure that, it's for the presenters too, yeah, that microphone. Okay, whenever you're ready, Bev, we can pull back to order.
It's okay now.
Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting back to order at this time. We will proceed with residents' community concerns. Are there any residents with concerns at this time for presentation to our board? Okay. This gentleman. And just so all of you know, the chair, Colin Carroll, is not here today because he is off island. And I'm the vice chair, pro temming this position. Sir, could you state your name?
Come close to this microphone. Okay, my name is Bill Chismar.
Yes, hi, Bill.
And I just wanted to check, I don't know what the status is on the replacement of the lights on the ball field right here. But I have a request that when they are replaced, that they be replaced with shielded lights. I live probably a couple hundred feet up on the hillside and a mile away. And the old lights were bright enough that they cast shadows at my house. So it was a little bit annoying to look out and just see these bright lights shining and casting shadows. And I'm sure it's not good for the wildlife for the bright lights to be shining up the sky at night. So my request is that whenever it moves forward, that there are shielded lights that are just lighting up the field and not the sky.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just a point of clarification.
Okay, to
Bill,
Mr. Steve.
the field, it's, the district park?
Yes, the park right here.
Thank you.
That's the one. Yes, the
Oh,
district park.
that gotta be said to Mr. Say.
So we'll bring that up with
Yeah,
our council member, say.
yeah.
All right, thank you. Mr. Chairman. Okay,
Good
any
enough.
other community concerns?
No,
Okay, so moving forward, I go to item number 4, presentations. So I'm gonna call on for the water supply, Jadine Iwasaki Capital Project Division. And thank you to Steve Nordstrom, who sent me that email. So she'll present the proposed 5-year water rate schedule.
that's it.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity tonight to come and talk to you folks on our proposed water rates and charges update. I'm Jadine Urasaki, as noted earlier, from our Capital Projects Division, and as Ernest Lau, our Manager in Chief, mentioned earlier, all of our team that is here, so I won't repeat that again, but they are all here in support of this presentation and will be available for any questions that you folks have at the end of the presentation. So this slide shows you how large and complex our water system is. In order for us to serve 145 million gallons of water every day to about 1 million people here on Oahu. Next slide. So the Board of Water Supply is a semi-autonomous agency of the city and county of Honolulu. We're solely funded by ratepayers. We receive no funding from property taxes. And again, this only applies to water, not sewer. We get our approvals through our board of directors. Wastewater charges are determined by the Department of Environmental Services and approved by the City Council. So where does your money go? So this pie chart here shows you a third of our monies go, the monies goes to our operations and maintenance and maintaining the water system. The other third goes to our capital improvement program and debt service in order for us to support and implement our projects to address the aging infrastructure. Our operating fund expenditures for this fiscal year 2024 is roughly about $276 million. So in the last rate update from 2018 to 2023, we expended about $770 million in upgrading the aging infrastructure for the water system. So why are we doing this? So there's a couple of things. Manager and Chief Engineer Ernie Lau mentioned about Red Hill, which we'll get to on this couple slides. Well, COVID-19, obviously that changed a lot of things for everybody. And of course, it did have an impact on our customers and their water use patterns. Next slide. Inflation has decreased our purchasing power. As you can see, inflation in the green at 20.9%, which is roughly 21%. And our revenues of what we had projected in getting was at 12.5%. So again, this 8% differential is significant. So power costs are trending sharply upward. So despite the fact that we do a lot of energy conservation and maintaining the consumption that we have, you can see in the purple as it declines. But as you see the green, the energy cost factor, it's pretty much tripled from 10 cents per kilowatt to 30 cents per kilowatt. And that is significant. So in 2023, our electricity costs were $33 million. That was 20% over our budget. Next. So as Ernie mentioned earlier, Red Hill. So again, the response for this, it's large investments that we're going to have to undertake, monitoring wells for information on the contamination and how it's moving, the exploratory wells so that we can find new sources outside of its path. And again, we need to replace 17.5 million gallons a day of potable water capacity that we lost because of the Red Hill situation. And as mentioned earlier, it is still undetermined on the full impact that this has on our system and what we still need to do. So again, a lot of unknowns that we still gotta address in the future. What we've done, we chose not to pass those energy increase costs that was shown earlier, that $6 million. We did not pass that on to our customers. Instead, we deferred a lot of our purchases for our replacement vehicles or equipment, and we deferred less critical capital projects as well. And so we held our already approved rate increases from 2018 to 2023, and pretty much had a flat 2024 operation and maintenance budget despite the inflation costs. So, you know, that's the juggling act, right? It's a challenge for us to balance everything between safe, dependable water service and affordable rates. So we continue to defer capital projects that are less critical. We focus on the water quality, source protection and replacement and our treatment of our sources. We keep our operation and maintenance costs as flat as we can. And we begin our update of our water master plan this year. And again, adjust our working day capital that we need to have in the bank just in case emergencies occur. So what this slide shows mainly is two really important things of investment that will happen. One is, as you can see in the yellow, it's finding new sources. And in the brown, it's the pipeline and water line replacement. The BWS customer classes, we have 5 classes here. If you look at the first class, the single family residential, that's 90% of our customers. 90% that uses about a third of the water. But the important thing is the cost of recovery is 95%. And so that means if you look at the orange, the non-residential, they're the ones, and that money that we get on the cost recovery is what is subsidizing single family residential, our agriculture, and our non-potable and recycled classes. The water rates that we're being proposed for the 5.5 period will begin February 1st of 2024, and it will go into June 30th of 2029. It'll show 10% in February of 2024. Then it will be at 10% again, July of 2024, and every July after that, it'll be at 9, 8.5, 8, and 8%. All customer classes will have the same rate increase, but there'll be changes by tiers for different categories or classes, but everything is being consistent across the board of classes. So residential customers pay more as water use increases. So if you look here, you have single family residential. So 0 to 2,000 gallons, you pay $4.46. If you're using 30,000 gallons per month, you're paying $9.25. Same on the multifamily residential, between 0 and 2,000, you got $3.77, and then 10,000 gallons and more, you're at $5.98. And so again, that focus is we want to focus on those high users to encourage them to conserve. Increase for essential needs tier, we want to limit that to 2.5%. 10% of our BWS residential customers use 2,000 gallons or less per month. This graph shows that the rates are, like I said earlier, it's all designed to encourage conservation by the highest water users. So if you look at tier 4, which is 30,000 or more, you go from $9.25 currently to $18 by July of 2028. Single family residential water rates. So if you look at here, this is pretty much similar to what I just discussed, but what it shows you here, it shows you the tiers and then the proposed rates by each effective date. So how to calculate your water bill. So here's an example. You have a single family residence, 3/4 inch meter, usage amount about 8,500 gallons. So round it off to about 8,000 gallons. So you take the first 2,000 gallons, which is the essential needs tier, number 1, So at $4.46 times by 2, you get $8.92. Then you got 4,000 gallons in the next tier 2 to get you to 6,000. So $5.25 times 4 gets you to 21. And then the remainder of the 2,000 gallons to get you to 8,000 comes into tier 3. Multiply that by 585 and you got 1170. And then there's nothing in tier 4. And then you got your monthly customer charge for your 3/4 inch meter at $12.09. And when you add that up, your total bill will be $53.71. As stated earlier, so the meter size charges are shown here for each effective date. A majority of our customers are using either a 3/4 inch or a 5/8 inch meter. So comparing water bills on the essential needs tier, which is again 10% of our single family residential folks, so 2,000 gallons or less per month. As you can see, if your current bill is $21, and then each future month, future effective date after that, at the end, it'll go up from 21 to $30.18. For average water user at 9,000 gallons, you start with $59.56. And again, similarly, on each proposed effective date, goes all the way up. And at the end, at 2028, you're at $97.80. And of course, the high water users at 35,000 gallons per month will go up from 228 all the way to $413.49 in the similar fashion. So multi-unit residential water rates, similarly, you start at the essential tier 1 up to 2,000 gallons. You got tier 2, 3, and 4, and you would follow the same process all the way through to July 1st of 2028. So similarly, we discussed on the single family, on multi-unit residential sample water bill, you would have at 272 dwelling units, a meter size of 3 inches, monthly usage of 7,000, you go from 8,619, then each effective date after that up to 14,593. And similarly to each of the different examples we have, so a lot of it will depend on your meter size and your monthly usage. For non-residential customers, again, we said earlier, they pay 117% of their cost of service. Non-residential water rates. So similarly, in what we discussed earlier, it starts at 527, and then their increases would follow sequentially at each effective date, going to $8.80 in July of 2028. Non-residential sample water bills, restaurants, hotels, churches, similarly with their meter sizes and their usage would follow the same way that I showed and discussed earlier. Current reduced rates will be continued. We have lower rates for our local agriculture and for recycled water. We will continue our fee waivers for affordable housing, for homeless housing, as well as for retrofits, fire sprinklers. We are considering waivers for new farmers, waive installation fee and water system facility charges for new 3/4 inch and 1 inch meters connecting to our system for the first time. All of this is limited to $1 million, which we were granted by the State Department of Land and Natural Resources for a new exploratory well in Cuneo. We just require proof of commercial agriculture operation and our water use plan. BWS, we offer water conservation device rebates. We also have our water conservation programs. A lot of outreach that has been done and continues to be done with hotels and other businesses. Also, we have for kupuna that are living on their own, free low flow shower heads and faucet aerators, water audits of their home, and then again, making sure that they're getting the appropriate rebates for themselves. And there's a lot of information on conservation. If you go to our Board of Water Supply website, you can find a lot of information there as well. So where we are right now, so in terms of the rate adoption process overview, we're in the last two boxes on the bottom. And again, we're here to receive your comments, and also you can provide those comments in writing to us, but we do want to hear your input, your concerns. So again, there's a lot of information in the handouts, in the slides that we had. And definitely recommend you to go to our website. At our website, if you go to, we have a section for draft proposed water rates. A lot of information, a lot of facts, information for you. We also have a 12-minute video, greatly done by our communication staff. Provides you a lot of information, clarifications as well. Please take a look at it. And again, we're here for any questions that you have. And thank you for allowing us to come here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, are there questions
No.
from our board? Okay, Dan, thanks.
Thank you so much for the great presentation. I noticed there isn't any money being spent to control your electricity costs for capital improvement projects. Is there any opportunities for like using renewables and things? Because that seems like your highest cost of your going up.
Right, so, yeah, so we are looking at that. We actually have an energy savings performance contract that we are finishing up on. We have 3 megawatts that we've done and we've implemented, so that's gonna help save costs. We've changed out all of our lighting, so we have LEDs within our system. So we are looking at various ways to reduce energy costs. But it just doesn't keep up with the cost of the energy that HECO is charging everybody.
Like, I'm just thinking like, where all the water comes from, like here back in the valley, the health cost there, and there's a lot of land around that. Well, if I change this plant there with solar, something needs, and I'll put battery there or whatever it is, yes, or something, like I feel like every location you got to put a solar panel.
Yeah.
We actually do have a lot of solar on so they already.
On top here. So, you have more to add, Kathy?
Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, but if you guys don't mind, yeah, if you guys could come up to
Yeah,
the
sorry.
table at least, so that way the mic can pick it up for the people online.
Absolutely. We did, as J.E. mentioned, we did a project with Noresco a few years ago that we're still completing. We actually did put a lot of solar in a number of our facilities, including if you come to our main campus, we have solar over all the parking and everything. So again, as J.D. pointed out, unfortunately, it's costs have risen more frequently than we've been able to keep up with, but we are absolutely, and we will continue doing so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other
No more.
questions? Okay, we're good. Thank you. So the race will begin February 1st of 2024. Okay. Okay, thank you. Ew. I know we went a little over the 10 minutes, but water matters. So thank you.
Only clapping for a raise.
I'm gonna call on Dr. Reed Kuba, principal of Garrett Middle School, for presentation.
Thank you, Vice Chair, and thank you, Board, for the invitation to share kind of what's been happening at Jared Middle School. I've been there for going on 8 years now. When I first got there, our enrollment was at about 225, 230, and now we're averaging close to 280. This year was 290. That's significant for us because that equates to about $300,000 more within our budget. So that helps the students and our programs at the school. We not only do that alone, we have many partnerships. We brought in the After School All Stars program, so actually students could be in school from 8 to 5:30. And it's a robust program where it's not just babysitting. We got
cooking classes, robotics, sports. We do excursions on the weekend. So it just adds to students' experiences, and it really helps our parents because that after-school program is free at our school. So we got our students in school from 8 to 5:30. We were able to, in the past few years, bring on Waikiki Health Center. They can serve all of our students as well as any public school student in the area, we're actually on the island, but we try to advertise it to Palolo Elementary School, Alialani, and they could bring their children here to our school for health services also. Along with the increase in enrollment, which helps us with our budget, I think what really helped was that we kept a lot of our kids were, before I got there, a lot of our kids were leaving. Either leaving or not coming. But we're getting a lot more students from Hopulani, Lino Liho, Alialani, along with Palolo coming in. So, like I said, when I first got there, I asked for how many geographic exceptions we have, and my registrar would tell me 2. I was shocked. 2. But over the years, we're averaging 30, which again, that equates to a lot more in our budget to help all of our kids and help our school. We also have great partnerships with Iolani School, the Jarrett Middle School Foundation, one of the few foundations in the state. And they help support us through fundraising. We also started partnership with Sacred Hearts and the other schools around the area. So we've been trying to increase the experience, make it a better experience for our students. And one of the things we stress with them is to be caring and responsible to each other within school. We really want to push them to do that beyond school too. I know we can't do that all the time, and I get some calls from neighbors and police, but just know that definitely that's not our intent. And I always try to help out the neighbors or police whenever possible if some situation would occur. But again, we try to encourage them to be caring and responsible. My model for all of our students, because a lot of them come behind both academically, socially, emotionally, is to be extraordinary, not just be ordinary, but there's no way they're going to catch up if they just do the same every year or increase their learning by 1 year. They'll still be behind, but we really push the kids to learn more than 1 year. So that's this extraordinary that I try to push into students. But with that, I just want to give you the update that, there's a lot of good things that are happening at our school, bringing in more students, more families, more diversity. The challenges, though, that we may have recently is an increase in the amount of disadvantaged students that we have. Initially, when I got there, about 75%, 76%. It's increased in the 8 years by about 10%. So now we're serving about 86% of our students were disadvantaged, as well as our yield population. That's exploding. We averaged around 10 to 12%. Now we're up at 36%. So a third of our students, English is their second language. So that's a challenge both for our teachers, our students. When I got there, we only had a half-time EM teacher, but now we're looking at 3 or 4. We've had to increase to service our students. And with that, I'm open to any questions, any support that we can provide for the community.
You can announce your fundraiser.
The foundation that works with the school actually has a dinner fundraiser. It's at the Japanese Cultural Center, November 18th. That's in a couple of weeks from now. I think it's 5 to 9, 5:30.
So everyone can participate to the 10.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and
You have, do you get any impact fees from students that might be related to a military pursuit?
Every school has that, and we fill out these survey cards, but generally our school doesn't benefit much from that because
Not much here.
yeah.
I'd say a handful.
So we're like a say disadvantage that I have the program that comes to there.
Yeah, we wouldn't be categorized under tier one, but yes, we have a lot of. And disadvantage would be either a student who's in special education, who's in an English language learner, or economically disadvantaged. They would be considered like high risk.
So we was talking with some groups in the lines of help with those groups that need to get the hearing and eye care dissolved. And so the issue is there was some challenges is when the kids come in for testing. And they need to go and meet with a doctor actually writing us actually. Is your health services allowed for a doctor to be present at some point of time to avoid that second visit?
Yes, I'm fairly certain our partnership is with Waikiki Health Center. So definitely, I meet with doctors, the head nurses. If a doctor is needed, I've seen them make that connection. Ideally, for a lot of our families who go to Kalihi, we're trying to change that because when they go to Kalihi, they're absent from school. They're absent from school for the whole day because they have to get down there and they wait. We want them to change over to our school. They just come, there's no line. Or we could even call them from class, do the checkup and send them right back to class. But so same thing, Hamaki High School, they send their students to get health checks for sports. They just come by, check, and they're back at school. So we're trying to.
Are there many schools that are similar to what we do various areas?
We're unique in that I think the next closest one is in Waianae, we'll have a health center. Kahuku has a health center. We have this one in Honolulu District. Because of COVID, some of the schools have nurses now, so they have that capacity, but we almost have the capability to do like full service health kind of care.
Because this case has been probably in Miami, and they're trying to but the lines have where they need to do testing. Then the second step when they need to go to a doctor. A lot of times they feel homeless or disadvantaged. They can't necessarily get to a doctor. They're going to the system. The comp is close by, but it's not the same when you have to actually get them to go to. So one of our friends was saying, perhaps if you help them to do that, where the local unit would show up to the school. Someone there,
so that would be a possibility that I would suggest the Lions Club either contact our school or we can make the connection with the Waikiki Health Center because they also have a mobile unit. Our school health center though can only service public school students, but they do have a health mobile that possibly could be off campus and take care of adults.
Any other concerns, questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna move on to our board business, filling of vacancies. So we have one vacancy sub-district 2, one vacancy sub-district 3, and one in sub-district 4. Are there any residents interested in filling vacant board seats? See none, so I'm gonna proceed. But however, we are open to call any one of our board members. Oh, we won't stay with us.
I'm happy to stay.
Okay.
I live in.
Oh, close by, your close neighbor, thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna go to, let's see, 5B, So consideration of representation at the Kanuki Christmas parade. I have notes here from Colin. $120 would be covered by the Neighborhood Commission office. The parade will be held on Thursday, December 7th, starting at 6 o'clock. So all of our residents should be prepared because I think they start blocking off the streets earlier on that day. So it'll go from Chaminade to Cocoa Head Avenue along the eastbound lane of Waialae Avenue. Traffic will be contraflowed in the westbound lane. Okay, so I guess the concern was when I talked to our chair was if we could find a vehicle or a car and then perhaps some of us could participate. So is there any interest on offering a car for us to ride in or any interest to participate at this time? From our board.
So we have $120 to apply towards the Christmas parade, or is that what?
Is that the entry fee?
Is that the entry fee or is that just cost?
Yeah, so the entry fee is the $120, and that would be covered by my office for you guys to attend. You guys would just need to figure out how you would participate, whether or not you even want to, which is why Beverly is talking about
Yeah.
a vehicle, or you guys could even just, show up and have your banner. You could have, you could just walk in the parade. It's totally up to the board, but you would cover the entry fee at least.
I feel like we need a pickup truck. Anyone vehicle? Anyone?
Anyone has one or
Okay.
a pickup truck?
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. The city can pay for the bus, for a bus.
No, for us to enter. the
No, answer, but what is it? They will surprise on car too, the city?
I would be surprised if that were. But, I mean, I'll drive you guys around my truck.
No, that's the main thing about them. See, we live on car, so our chairman said,
Most likely fall under the board's responsibility. I don't think my office, we don't have any.
Because liability. Yes.
Also, we don't have like a fleet of vehicles.
And to rent a vehicle, we're talking about 160, 180, so.
Yeah,
Insurance.
Too much.
insurance.
Somebody coordinates the truck.
Okay, so
They might have-
from what I hear, there's
Yeah.
not that much interest, correct?
Well, I also would just like to,
Yes,
provide the
you can.
info, Colin already paid for the fee. So my office is willing to reimburse him, but he already kind of,
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's very nice.
okay.
no, he just paid for the
just
entry
there's a
fee.
little bit of incentive if you guys like. It's already, yeah.
Okay, who else will
I'm
want? to-
interested.
Okay, so,
Yeah, we'll recruit.
I'll be at the Kamuki parade as well.
I guess I'll go. I'll do it.
okay, Gavin,
You to walk up.
Randy, you interested?
Yeah, I'll go.
Well, you go walk.
Not gonna walk.
Huh?
Gonna ride.
No, that's what I mean. We're trying to get on vehicle first.
So Vice Chair, if I could just make a recommendation.
Okay, so, where are we at? Randy will participate.
You know what,
if there's a
I have to
vehicle.
withdraw. I forgot about my health condition. I didn't think.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
You're talking about if there's a vehicle, it's gonna be.
Darlene, you're with Palolo Chinese Hall. So right now I have four people interested. Dean, are you interested? No. Okay, so with four, that includes you, Logan. So are you folks are willing to? Okay, so can you folks contact each other and create a group? And is there a banner? Is there a banner?
Colin has two banners, you know, the yellow banners that you saw here in the last meeting. He has the banners.
So
He has them.
So that would mean 5 people. So maybe we can reach out and have Colin contact all of you, and he has the banner.
He has
Right, Randy?
two of them. Two
He has
banners.
he has the banner, the monthly meeting.
Just just to be clear, I'll be helping out with the city side of being in the
Yes.
parade, but I will see you guys there.
Okay, and we'll just march.
And then maybe you can find out for us
Yeah.
the lineup or where, what position we'd be in. But
Yeah,
the-
so what I would recommend is just, since there's gonna be multiple board members attending, I would just recommend passing a motion that the board is gonna participate in the parade.
Okay, so may I have a motion?
I move that the Palolo Neighborhood Board participate in the Kamiki Christmas Parade to be held Thursday, December 7th.
Okay, may I have a second? Okay, Juanita, second. All those in discussion, any further discussion? They're all in favor, indicate so by raising the right hand. Okay, opposed? Okay, no opposed, motion passed. Okay, and if I'm up to it, I'll come join you.
Me too.
And Randy too. Okay, good. Okay, so, 5C, consideration of Christmas party during the December, board meeting. Randy?
I'd like to suggest a holiday party. We'll just call it a holiday party. To accommodate people who are not, who don't observe Christmas, call it a holiday party.
Sure, instead of Christmas,
Holiday.
a holiday party.
That's correct.
Okay,
That's a friendly
yeah,
amendment.
that's a friendly way.
Why?
Okay, what are your thoughts? But we would still need to hold a meeting.
Of
Is that-
course.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would have probably a short meeting and then, have a holiday,
Party.
party after, which would be potluck,
Potluck. Yes.
potluck, and open to our residents.
Yeah.
Okay, do we need a motion on this?
I would recommend a motion, just.
Okay, may I have a motion?
I'll do a motion. I move that there be a holiday party, and, with with potluck participation.
Okay, and, a second?
I second.
Okay, Derek, second?
Just some clarification, this is after
Discussion.
the December board meeting.
That's correct.
Yes, correct. So we'd have the meeting. And Earl is interested in singing, at least Meli
can sing, yeah,
Kalimako.
that's fine.
Wish you a Merry Christmas. Before we hit the gavel. So
No, no,
we can work the logistics out. So are we prepared to vote then? All in favor, please indicate so by raising the right.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Okay, and
Excuse me, but
Yes.
who's the second made that?
Derek?
Derek,
Thank you.
and may I suggest you first dress festive, wear your Santa hat, red and
I have a hat.
gold, silver,
Hanukkah
but
sweater.
be festive. Or your ugly sweater or whatever. Okay. Okay, and then moving on, okay, so this is a very important, discussion. We're moving to, reconsideration of the meeting, format. And with that said, I have a note, that Colin wrote, and I think he discussed it with the neighborhood commission office. If there is no virtual option, Olelo will guarantee to cover the meeting. So Logan, is that correct?
I can't speak on that. I wasn't made privy of that, to be honest.
That sounds a little iffy to me. If we don't have any agreement on that.
what do you mean, Palolo?
Okay, so I think the board is interested to have Olelo.
Yeah.
And the board is also interested to have the microphones that Olelo provides us. So is the only way to have Olelo video us is to have only in-person meetings?
Yeah, just to speak on that, right now so just for instance, the second Wednesdays when you guys meet, there are 3 board meetings.
Uh-huh.
And the videographers that record and produce the video for broadcast on Olelo they are also experiencing staffing shortages, and basically there's only so many meetings that they can be at, right? And so at this time, a majority of the meetings that are attended by Olelo are primarily based on attendance. And that includes board, public, representative, like the whole meeting. If there's a lot of in-person attendance, then Palolo is more likely than not, probably gonna be present as well. But yeah, I know there's 2 other board meetings, on the same night as you guys. I know at least one of them has a videographer. And I can check on the other one, but right now it's just because of shortages, it's primarily based on, attendance, in-person attendance.
Can I request that the matter be deferred until we get more information from,
What information are
I
you?
mean, in other words, you need to, from Colin and from the city, from folks, like.
Yeah, that's an old one.
I mean, we can't do anything tonight, for you to find out some more, right?
Find out what, to be specific, if you don't mind.
To find out whether, about the videographer, and you can just made a statement, maybe I have this,
Yeah, just to be clear, like I said, it's primarily based on in-person attendance. So maybe if you guys were to change your meeting format
Yes.
to all in person,
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
that would increase your attendance enough for.
Absolutely.
But there's also a chance that now you just don't have online, you don't have online participation. Maybe you get a little bit more attendance in person, but there's also a chance that based on availability, you guys still might not get a videographer.
okay,
So basically, I can't guarantee it. The contract that's awarded to the videographer, it's not through the NCO, right? So that contract gets awarded to a different entity.
Well, let's go with Olelo, okay? We gotta get them
Well,
first
I
before we know, okay? Three meetings or so, okay? That people can know about it.
I guess I'm just concerned if we take away the virtual option, we're gonna be potentially limiting, presence from our representatives, from our city council, mayor's office. I just, it might be a little bit harder to access some of the elected officials as well as, the city and county, workers who come. So that's my one concern about removing the virtual option.
Well, all officials supposed to attend in person. That's what they all did before the COVID-19, okay? So we just come back to what the same way how our neighborhood board was run. That's all. We never had with a WebEx or whatever. So they all come inside the meeting, talking inside. Okay, Mr.
Go ahead, Logan.
Yeah, so, sorry for talking so much. I'll try to finish the last time, but, the NCO's recommendation is definitely to keep it hybrid with in-person and virtual. It just makes it easier for people to attend if they're, a lot of times even your representatives, they'll be off island, but they still
Yeah.
want to come before the board, right? And so that's why, the WebEx is so important, just because, for instance, like, you can have people that are willing to come and talk, but they can't come in person maybe every month, right? And so, like Derek said, it just kind of limits your ability to get in front of your officials like that.
Well, I've been on the board for 20-something, we never get no problem when a guy gotta talk, you know what I mean? We were all, like you said, neighborhood board, everybody stay here, nobody complained, I wish I could have talked or was in the island, you know what I mean? Nobody said that. None of the representatives ever said that.
Are there other comments? Are there other comments from
So we just come back to the regular way.
Logan?
If I could just make one more statement of, the NCO will support your guys' meeting however you want it, right? It's totally up to the board. If you guys want to go all in person,
Yeah.
we're more than willing to accommodate that. It's just, as of right now, you guys are aware, in July, your initial convening, you guys did pass a motion to have that, hybrid element.
Correct. So right now, for our board members, we have hybrid. Okay, so if you folks make a motion, it would be a motion to have it in person to possibly try and increase attendance, which would result in having Olelo. Now, I know what Earl is saying because prior we always had in person and someone would send a representative or email. Like today, I have an email of what's going on. But I think that the idea is to encourage people to come.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
And I know while we had COVID, hybrid was probably the best way to do it because we couldn't even meet in person at all. But are there any other thoughts or can I have a motion or, go ahead.
So it's still one or the other. It's not hybrid with,
Well, we have hybrid now.
but it can't be hybrid and or Olelo if permitted. So like if there is not enough for us to call Olelo, can we still have hybrid?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you guys are hybrid right now, right? You have attendees online.
Yeah, hybrid right now.
And like I said, it's still based on attendance, right? So you guys could have the hybrid element and Olelo if you guys had enough attendance.
And how much attendance would we need?
I don't have an idea of an
Yeah,
exact
there's no
number.
problem.
Like I said, there's other meetings tonight and I can ask. That's one thing I could ask.
And what are the other neighborhood boards?
The ones that meet tonight.
Yeah,
I would have to double check.
Oh.
I know one is Kahului. I'm not sure about the other one.
okay,
They just recommend that we're gonna be on
Yeah,
in
but-
person, that's all.
Comment online from Steve.
okay, so,
Dean, Dean,
Derek?
wait, Chair,
Randy,
Dean has a comment.
okay, Dean, I'll call on you.
Sure, thank you. What is the advantage of having Olelo do the production?
What you said that? What do you mean?
What is
What
the,
is the advantage
the
of having
advantage?
Olelo do the production? At least I can repeat it.
Why?
What's the advantage of having Olelo do the production? Is it a better production?
Yeah,
Or-
that's right. How long you been in the board? Don't you watch okay, a little, okay? Like before the COVID, whatever? And you can watch the Palolo neighborhood board, okay? And see how it runs?
Yeah, what
Did
we
you
were
s-
saying is that Olelo, would video, would video all of us.
Yeah,
Every month we could watch
yeah.
the video. The reason why
Right.
Olelo is better, from what I gather, is the acoustics. And secondly, we would have the microphone
Yeah,
and it would be, our whole meeting would be recorded.
Yeah.
Right now, the recording is WebEx, right?
Yeah, so
yeah,
if you guys can see, Olelo is actually on right now.
yeah.
They still do all their recording. They still reproduce the rebroadcasts that go on channel 49 later in the month. So they're still here. They still produce their same video. They just don't have an in-person presence, right?
Right.
As far as improving the product, I actually had a speaker tonight that I was trying to set up. I was just having difficulty with the Bluetooth
Uh-huh.
connections. Have a new
Wasting time.
Omni mic set up from the office, which I'm, hoping will also work better next month. We're still going through the trial and error phase right now with some of the new equipment at the NCO, but we are making strides to improve your meeting internally as well, even if you might not have a videographer present.
We just want to go back without a little, that's all. Some guys, like you say, and stay home. It's not the way for, you can talk and discuss with the people, you know what I mean? That's the reason why. Come over here, the guy wanna speak, you can talk, take your microphone. That's all.
Okay, perhaps, the board can further discuss it.
Yeah, I recommend that we go back to Olelo.
Are you making a motion?
I make a motion that we go back to Olelo. The regular way how it was before the COVID-19.
So is there a second? Earl made a
Oh,
motion.
sorry, just a point of clarification.
Yes.
Having- Making a motion to have Olelo, I mean, Olelo is present, that motion does.
So we already have Olelo.
So the motion needs to be clarified and it would, you make a motion to have in-person meetings.
Yeah, with
Right.
in-person
Person
motion.
meetings solely. That's,
Are you making that?
Are you making that?
yes, I'm
motion?
making that motion.
Okay.
Okay.
Who has his?
A
hand
person. Huh?
Who else has?
Okay, but wait a minute, wait a minute. Is Randy making a motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
person.
there's a motion on the floor to have in-person Palolo Neighborhood Board meetings. May
Yeah.
I have a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay, there's a second by Earl. Okay, now I will go into discussion. Okay, Dean,
Sorry. It seems like we have had this discussion about the hybrid several times. So we're actually going to vote to go away from the hybrid, and I'm concerned that it does not give options to people who are not able to attend in person. So are we giving up that opportunity for people to attend so we could be on TV with Olelo? And we take the risk of not being one of the three that they want to cover. Unless there's a way to know how many people will be attending, we risk that our meeting not be produced at all on Olelo if there's not enough videographers. Am I correct?
Logan,
Yeah, so Dean, thanks for bringing up that point. Even if you guys were to move all in person, I would still be recording your meeting and Olelo would still be recording your meeting through my recording. So no matter what, you guys are on Olelo. That has nothing to do with whether the videographer is here in person. No matter what, you guys will, my office will always produce the YouTube video after the meeting of the meeting. And Olelo and the videographer will always be producing the video for Olelo rebroadcasts.
When we say on Olelo, you're gonna be over here, you're gonna be making the recording. Whatever we're talking about, that's how it is. Unless your boss, they want to do something different. That's how it was run. Okay? You gotta take all the message, whatever we talked about. So when we get that stuff there, we don't have like, hey, get right here now. Refer to certain so and so.
are there any other comments? Derek?
And yeah, I'll just follow up. Like, I do just think removing the hybrid option is a risk. Because again, it risks accessibility with our representatives, and with a lot of the community resources, again, grateful that a lot of people showed up today to present in person. But, I just foresee that there's gonna be a lot more responses from elected officials via email, via written responses, and not have a presence at the meeting if we remove the virtual option. So that's my concern with this motion and with this idea of removing the virtual option.
What you're saying that we get in person, they're not coming?
We're taking that risk, Earl.
No, they can't. Look, we've been in the meeting all the time, okay? If it did happen 5 years ago, I can see what you're talking about. You're just thinking what something might happen. This is what everybody comes to the meeting, okay?
That's my concern.
Yeah, it's something that happened, okay? Not something we thinking not going to. That's the difference.
Comments?
I'd like to make a comment, Beverly.
Go ahead, Darlene.
I just want everyone to know that COVID-19 is still with us and that it's very contagious. And now there's RSV and there's the flu. And for us sitting this close together, we're actually putting ourselves at risk. I think we should kind of spread out.
Okay.
But I think we should give people the option. I hear what Earl is saying, but there's no way we can go back to the pre-COVID days. Times have changed. Times have changed dramatically. And people have gotten really more comfortable with the accessibility with technology like Zoom and WebEx and all of that. And
Yeah.
I feel like when we were doing COVID-19 and we had the WebEx, I thought we had a lot more participation than we have tonight. Tonight, the primary audience was Board of Water Supply. There's nobody here.
Nobody knows about it, so that's the reason why, Yeah. What about this? When you have a meeting, you like people to be in person.
But it's
Right?
dangerous. It's
You know,
dangerous.
that's how it was all
It's
the
a
time, right?
risk. It's a
I
risk.
think we need to pay attention to the healthcare provider in the.
There's a risk.
No, the hell, you can always move, like you said.
No,
Like I want to tell my total guy to move, they can move.
So are we prepared to vote? There's 8 quorum, so we would need 5 to pass.
No, we need
Oh.
7.
I would recommend a roll call no matter what,
Okay.
and no matter what, it's a 13-member board, you guys would require 7 for the quorum vote for the motion to pass.
We would require 7.
7 ayes, yes.
Come on.
But that's difficult if we have 8. What do you-
Oh,
Okay,
right.
let's do roll call.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
Chair, I'll actually
Okay.
do the roll call. if
Okay,
that's
you do
okay.
the roll call.
Pat,
See, in favor of the, motion in person only, no, I'm not, no.
Ige,
I might say no, or
you can either say aye, no, or abstain.
1%.
say,
Abstain,
Kawamoto,
no,
Mao,
abstain,
McColgan,
No,
Nakayama,
No.
Onishi, Shiraki,
Hey, aye.
Urban,
No.
Paros. The motion does not pass with 1 aye, 5 noes, and 2 abstentions.
okay. Okay, motion, is declined.
So what that means now?
You can always bring it up again in the.
Come on.
But the motion, did not pass. Okay, so, we can move to our elected officials.
Oh, we have one more.
We have a item, the, approval of regular
Oh, I see.
Written
Okay,
summary.
can I have a motion for approval of the regular meeting written summary, of October 11th,
So
twenty
moved.
2023? Okay, Randy, so move. Yes,
Just quick comment,
yes.
and I know, I totally get, especially, we have a good presence here
I'm
from our.
sorry, Vice Chair, there was a motion.
There is a motion on the floor.
Oh,
I second.
Okay, okay, so, it's moved by Randy, second by Juanita. Discussion on the minutes.
Sorry, Dan, sorry.
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
No, no, wait, let's talk about it because, I don't see, the minute is not inside on the report, okay?
So you don't approve?
Not you would have stopped, he never write nothing, what I said, you know what I mean?
What are you
Um,
talking about, Earl?
let's go into
You-
discussion.
You know, when you get the missing, Randy, come on, Randy, you always go get your name, what you say, right, after we talk to the
Okay,
representative.
well, by the way, the meeting format, minutes format has changed because of the
Right.
stated opinions from the Office of Information Practices. So you have the timestamp here on the call to order, et cetera. Things have changed because of the requirements set forth and opinions by the Office of Information Practices in accordance with the Sunshine Law. So that's why it's not.
What?
It has the format of the minutes has changed. So you have a call to order with a timestamp, in parentheses by it, monthly reports, et cetera.
Randy, what I mean is, like I said, like the last time, every time we comment, Shiraki said such and so and so. I don't know, all the question, I don't see what I said or anybody else said anything, okay? That's what it is.
So do you want to clarify?
Logan,
He
Yeah,
said,
thank you, Vice Chair.
refer.
Just to clarify, so the way that the written summary works now is the main form of the minutes is actually a YouTube video, which you can see at the top of the minutes, there's a link. That's the first item on the written summary. Basically, during the meeting, I'm recording everything. I'm recording what you say exactly as you say it.
Yeah.
A lot of times in the past, and this was a big topic of conversation during the conference of chairs that Colin was present at.
yes,
So I definitely recommend asking Cam or me if you have any questions after, but the new style of minutes, the written summary is tied to a YouTube video. You can see every item in the meeting is tied to a timestamp. You can go to that YouTube video, you can go to the exact spot that you would like in the meeting, and you can listen to exactly what was said. in the meeting.
You get over here, question, comments, concern, follow, 0.325. What, we talking about? You talking, where I gonna get that from now? What I said?
In the recording. So
What
they're
recording?
recording.
Referred,
So,
Why isn't it the same way how we in Word and says here? You guys trying to be high tech, so everything just, nobody do nothing. Come on.
so the neighborhood
So we
commission,
all stay home, talk, only the chairman come here.
so Earl, I believe.
Come on. We've been here for the board.
That the neighborhood commission has changed the format of the minutes.
That doesn't mean that stuff is good for everybody.
But it will refer to your questions.
There is a now, I know Earl, that you had a complaint before with, that was filed with the neighborhood commission. Maybe, that's where you need to take this matter up with
Yes,
the neighborhood commission. He's done-
yes,
Yep.
and they're open to hearing you.
I can make one more comment.
Go ahead, Logan.
Thank you. So the written summary that my office provides, that is a courtesy that we do to the board. A huge topic of conversation during the conference of chairs is that the board is really responsible for their own minutes. It says so in the neighborhood plan, and that's just the way that it is. My office provides that as a courtesy to you guys, and you guys can choose whether to accept it or not. The three options available to you after receiving the draft, you can either adopt the draft as written, you can make amendments to the draft and then adopt that, or you're more than welcome to scrap my draft and write your own minutes. All those options are totally fine. And again, my office will support you guys. Whatever you guys pass as your minutes, that is what will get posted to the website. Just because I draft something, that doesn't mean it's official in any sense. It's your minutes.
So if we get both of them here, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna get only the chairman over here, two guys. Everybody else gonna be on top there at home, just talking. How simple is it to do that?
Yeah.
So we have a motion on the floor
Come on.
pass the minutes. All in favor, please indicate so by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign, okay. Motion carried on the minutes.
With me, I oppose.
Sorry, just.
So all opposed, so one opposed.
That's a good point of clarification.
Yes.
Are you aye or nay or abstaining?
I abstain.
Okay.
So I don't think there's enough. Let's see.
You guys just trying to think high tech,
We
that's all.
don't have quorum then. So we have,
Oh, for the minutes?
yes.
Okay, I'm a aye.
Oh, so that's, okay. So that's, went from abstain to aye, that's
So
7
only
ayes.
one
So
opposed, right?
7 ayes.
Yeah.
No,
So-
or 1 no.
So
and no
the
abstention.
motion,
What, how come you looking for the stuff is not here?
I will explain it to you later, and you can talk.
Oh, I know.
So, Logan, the motion has passed?
Yeah, motion is passed,
Okay.
Vice Chair. 7
Okay.
ayes, 1 no. and
Okay,
0
so motion passed. I'm gonna do a recess at this time.
Okay,
Okay, I need to leave to go to the airport, so I'm gonna have Randy take over. So Randy. shall
Oh,
I
you can
take
stay over there, stay over there.
stay there.
You can stay there, Randy. Stay right there.
Thanks.
Okay, so Randy,
Jeez, right.
we're gonna proceed here. Now, the reason why I had to recess is I don't think anybody is here, but when you come to Kelvin C, yeah, they want to know the estimate for the new lighting. But this is 6B, so you're gonna look, 6B.
I'll have to,
Then when you go to 6F, he's not here, yeah.
Just like everybody, I stay home myself. Hey.
To be- When you go to 6C, Darlene can help you. When you go to 6C, you just read this. Or Darlene can help you read it. How's that?
Oh, no, that's just read them too. No make difference already.
C and F, and you can drop this all off at my house later. Okay, so when you're ready to reconvene, and thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Dallas is gonna help close up, and Darlene and everyone.
Okay.
Does the key need to be returned tomorrow, Earl? Does the key? need
Dallas
to
is
be
gonna
returned?
return the key.
Okay, so Dallas,
Before we reconvene, if you're gonna
Yes.
leave, Beth,
Yeah.
can I give you your polo shirt?
oh, sure, sorry.
Just double check what's.
Oh, lucky you got it, you're pretty sure.
I know, hey, we lucky, we're gonna get polo shirts.
Yeah. Palolo.
Okay, thank you for everyone's patience. I'm gonna give this to Darlene.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna get a polo shirt.
Wow. How nice.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a nice
Okay.
shirt.
We're going-
So she
Where-
can
where-
help. So next meeting will be Christmas, right?
Okay, right here,
Yeah,
right
where's
here.
the department?
Got it. Okay, is,
Oh, can you call us back to order first?
let's go back to order. Is the meeting back to order? Okay. Are we in order here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. So we're going to Congressman Ed Case is the representative here. Oh, okay. We're going to Calvin Say. There is a cost estimate. We need to ask Calvin Say, are you there? Is the office, are you there? Calvin?
I'm here, Randy.
Okay, go ahead and present.
Before,
sir.
before we can do the cost estimates, may I make a request to the Department of Design and Construction to request how much money will be for appropriations of the new lights? From that point, when they do the design and plans, you can make the statement to the department that Bill Chismer wants the lights to not reflect into their homes on the 10th Avenue side of Palolo Valley. Bill lives in Waimau, so he feels that the light creates a shadow, and that issue can be brought up with the Department of Design and Construction. Is that okay?
That's fine.
For next month, everyone, if they
Yes.
can respond.
Yes, Logan, go ahead.
Hey, council member.
Yep,
I
Logan.
think I think this is actually in regards, I could be wrong. I think this is in regards to the Palolo court lights, not the field lights.
This is the cost estimate for new lighting at the Palolo District Park. New lighting, cost estimate for, my understanding is that the information from what I have here is from our chair, Colin. The information is already 1 month past due.
Okay, I'll go and follow up. Is Mr. Mamizuka there? Warren?
Warren is not in attendance tonight, council
Okay,
member.
I'll go and follow up with that request made to, I believe, Warren. But we did research it that there is no funding for the new lights at the park. At the park. But if he's questioning the playground, meaning the artificial type of playgrounds that the kids are playing at, the basketball court, etc., try and distinguish for me what Bill is requesting. Is it the baseball field?
So I have here for new, the cost estimate for new lighting at the Palolo District Park. I don't have the specification whether it's for the court or.
Yeah, so the NCO has been actually tracking this, council members say, we actually got a response from, Department of Design and Construction, but it wasn't satisfactory, so we figured we would continue to follow up with them and
Okay.
prepare a better
Okay.
answer next month. But yeah, we are tracking this. We already submitted,
Okay, Logan, great.
Yeah.
Because,
Okay,
yeah, and then my report is in the chat, in the link. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. I had a great tour today of Palolo Valley. Went to visit Waimau, Kuahea Street, Coahell Place, Waimau Road, all the way to the end of the road. Then we came out, we went by for the Chinese home, passed by the hospice home, whereby I believe we're looking for some resources for the acquisition of a generator. As we turn around, we went up to Carlos Long, all the way up to the top of Myrtle Street to look at the power plant that is up there, the Pukeli substation. I have, for all of you, I have two new employees working for me. Pua Smith Kauhani and Mr. Andrew, I can't pronounce his last name, but they're great workers. Melvia and Brandon. Brandon has already left Sequia, and Melvia will be leaving at the end of the year. So that's the two new members I have as part of my staff, along with Janelle and Judy. From there, we went down to the laundromat. If you folks recall, the laundromat where they had a lot of where it was a gaming room, and now it's being retrofitted into a business that is almost like a restaurant type of old type of how would you say it? Drive-in. I did look into it, and yeah, there won't be any more laundromat and no gambling house on that laundromat that you folks know on Palolo Avenue, across from the Hongpa Hongwanji Church. We did pass by also the sighting of the Palolo Avenue rock boulder that went through the home of the Sasaki family. And I highlighted all the hot spots in Palolo Valley for the two new employees that will be working for my office. Other than that, I'll be happy to respond to any questions that you folks may have. And yeah, if you folks want me to attend all the time in person, I'll try to do my best. But for the record, I have 7 neighborhood boards that I do attend. And I believe Logan is correct. The first Wednesday of the month, it's Maloa Neighborhood Board. The first Thursday of the month is Mo'ili Makali. Second Wednesday is Palolo. Second Thursday is St. Louis Heights Diamond Head Kapuhulu. Third Wednesday is Kaimiki. Third Thursday would be the Makiki Tanlis. And the fourth Tuesday of the month, at the end of the month, on a Tuesday, is the Alamoana Kaka'ako Neighborhood Board. So I hope, for Logan, that there won't be any conflicts with some of these boards as far as, conflicting with Palolo and others, because I have to choose between the two. But that's my report. I'm happy to report whatever questions you may have and bring it back to both Mr. Mamizuka and I.
Questions?
Okay, question for him, Calvin.
Yeah, Earl.
They had a test, a fire alarm test this month. I couldn't hear the siren.
Fire alarm test where?
They had the once a month you get the fire alarm, the siren test.
That's a disaster.
Huh?
That's the disaster.
Siren?
Yeah. You see how hard it is when you talk to us, when you stay right, I can talk to you right in your face.
The question is that you asked a fire test is okay. It's only now that you're saying that the sirens that we have is also for fire, tsunami, hurricane, etc. That's the policy that has been adopted after the Lahaina wildfire.
No, that was before they said okay.
That's not. Then what happened in Lahaina? I can't speak for it, but
They said that the stuff was for fire and not only for a tsunami.
Hi, Councilman Say, this is Melvia.
Yep, Melvia.
Oh, I think Earl is asking about the emergency siren monthly testing report that the state is in charge of, yeah? Haima. And we
Haima?
did have a request why the Palolo Valley one doesn't work. And we did get a response back that it is a state's responsibility, and they have over 40 sirens that have been vandalized and broken and in need of repair, and the Palolo Valley is one of them. And it's a CIP. It's very expensive. It's like 200,000 each because of the
wiring that is ripped out. But yeah, our director, Hiro Toya,
Yes,
reported back to us.
okay, got it. Thank you.
But the message is that the sirens aren't the only warning program. You have to listen to the radio and television and your cell phone if you have that alert.
Okay, no, that's great that you're correcting me, just that, when Earl asked a question,
Yeah,
you know, I'm just trying to respond in a proper manner to say, yeah, if it is the state, it's the state. If it's the county, it's the county.
Yeah.
But my point is that maybe Earl, you have to talk to Jackson and Les to get the money in for the 40 sirens that are not functioning at the state level.
yeah, that would be a question, yep, for state legislators to address in this. It's a CIP item.
Well, Melville, you should explain to them, the board members and the audience, what is CIP?
Oh, okay, so it's a capital improvement project funding for which is separate from the operating
Operate
budget for the
budget.
state, of Hawaii. So, you know, it's all construction related kinds of funding that run through, Department of Accounting General Services. But each department has to put in their CIP requests. Their senators and representatives have to lobby for it because not all gets passed because there's only a finite amount of CIP funds. It's all bond funds. So that's the process at the state level.
Okay, so at least you got your answer, Earl. And
Any
I
further
apologize.
questions?
So it's gotta be, it's gotta be the state, it's gotta be Mr. Sayama.
Sayama and Ihara, your senator.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Councilman.
You're very welcome, and thank you for tonight's discussion. It was excellent. Because probably in February, I'll get a lot of calls in regards to the water rate increases. So let's educate our neighbors that the reason why the water supply is increasing our water rates is because of the operational costs, the high expenses in regards to utility costs, electricity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Sayama, you're up. Thank you.
All right, good evening, members of the board, public. Just briefly, did want to touch, since we're on the topic of the emergency sirens, we did receive reports from Palolo and Kaimaki and St. Louis Heights as well, that the sirens aren't operational. So I'll be working with the House Committee on Land and Natural Resources and the Speaker to see whether or not we want that coming out of a budget request or if that comes out of individual district CIP funds. Ideally, it'd be the former, because if it does come from our individual CIP requests, that means it competes with school money. So that's still an ongoing process, but that's definitely going to be a priority regardless. Unfortunately, we definitely need those sirens to be working. We never know, something bad happens, right? Other than that, I've been going around the valley to Aliolani, Palolo Elementary, Jarrett Middle School, and Anunuin, speaking with the principals, touring their facilities to get a better understanding of what CIP requests they would be looking for the next biennium. Money might be looking a little short because the economy isn't recovering after the Lahaina fires. We're really hurting with that. So we'll see what the economy is looking like. And especially with federal interest rates right now, getting loans for capital improvement projects might be a little bit more expensive. So we are limited financially in that respect. Other issues in the neighborhood, we've received some concerns regarding the Halikoa brush that's in the back along Waimau and Lamaku. Used to be that the prisoners would come and they would cut the Halikoa back, but after an incident in which I guess their supervisor took them to the beach or something instead, that program was canceled and they haven't come back since. So might plan maybe a community cleanup in coordination with Councilmember Say. But I'll let the board know when we do plan for that. My office has been coordinating with Just Neighbors and Columbia High School students to clean up the park on 1 Mile Road. It's just on the side. It's very small. It's called Azama Park, but yeah, we've just been maintaining that as best as we can. So we have removed a substantial amount of green waste from that. So I guess that goes into just plays well with the whole getting rid of dead brush for land management and forest fire prevention. We are planning something similar in Kaimuki for the Mount Maya Nature Preserve Park. That's just completely overgrown and tolerable right now. In terms of state issues, we've been getting some concerning indicators from the insurance industry regarding their insurance policy on condominiums. That seems to be at a tipping point at this, and at this rate, it might just be a market failure. So I think the state will do its best to step in to really reform condominium management for AOAOs and its insurance policies. That is the same for homeowners insurance, especially after the Lahaina wildfires. Insurance companies are reassessing risk of wildfires across Hawaii, and reinsurance industry is even more skittish than before. So they're currently in contract renegotiation. We'll figure out in January what that looks like, but homeowners insurance is expected to go. So the state might try to step in depending on how far it goes up to maybe subsidize that in some way or another. But everything is getting more expensive. You know, and it's a lot of ripple effects from the Lahaina wildfires, even in our community. So we'll be doing our best in my committee of consumer protection and commerce to mitigate those insurance risks and issues in the state. I'll also be walking in the Christmas parades. I look forward to seeing some of the board members there. Other than that, I'll be open to questions.
Questions, board members? You have a question, Juanita? Yes?
Thank you.
Could you speak up, please?
Thank you, Representative. So my question is, when you were mentioning about the public law in the various areas, and so we would call your office if there are other groups that like to come out and help clean up in communities, whether they're Lions or other groups that are all nonprofits that want to help community.
Yeah, that would be great. I could coordinate that through my office. I did see something in the agenda later on, but I did want to give a shout out to 808 Cleanups. They've been really helpful at Kamki Mini Park. They've been recently coming up here in Palolo Stream in the back of Nui School, and they've been working on that area that's been overgrown. So I think that happens every first and third Wednesday of the month from 4 to 6. So if you guys want to join, come join.
And then one other is the insurance you mentioned with regards to, especially after what happened with fires. So do they also assist, is there funding to assist if we find problems in certain neighborhoods where these would be a major issue that would cause fire? Are there preventative funding that insurance company might want to contribute to reduce their costs of what they'd have to be looking at if they have to pay out those types of insurance policies?
So local insurance companies do invest in community cleanup efforts, but there is no specific fund for, say, wildfire prevention risks. Depending on the property that risk is on, it's either going to be just a private landowner or maybe state and city. So the jurisdiction, it gets pretty complicated there, but for like St. Louis Heights, there's been 2 wildfires in the past on the ridge in Manoa side, and we had a town hall 2 weeks ago with the community and HFD, HPD, DLNR. But that, just to give you a sense how complicated it is, it's UH Manoa, DLNR, Board of Water Supply, City and County jurisdiction on that one ridge. So there's a whole lot of coordination that's currently trying to happen. And if you do identify certain areas in the valley, I'm more than happy to help and coordinate that effort as well.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
You go.
Representative Sayama, thank you so much for everything that you do for us in the Valley. I really appreciate it. But I was just wondering that if someone noted or anybody recognized that the valley has really become brown, and we've all noticed that the brown is getting further up in the valley. And it's just a concern that we all have with the environment and all the changes that are occurring. But we see it in our valley. It's getting browner, right,
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, it does, it is.
Yeah, so the state's
So I just
only
wanna
been
know-
going through a drought phase, and it was mostly attention on Maui, Molokai, but Oahu is not exempt from that. What concerns me is particularly, I guess, going into the valley, the left ridge where the rock fell down. That property owned by Peter Savio, as more vegetation dries up and dies, the land becomes much more vulnerable to landslides and perhaps rock falls. So I'm going to be reaching out to him. One, I need to make clear to him that Attorney General has made it clear that it's his Juliana, his liability issue if a rock falls again. Two, what are his plans for that land? Because if it just keeps like that, then there's going to be more trouble. So we got to figure a long-term plan for that property as well.
And it is going to be a fire risk.
Oh yeah.
There is fire risk. Even in my immediate neighborhood, there's 3 abandoned houses next door. Brush needs to be rebated. Any further questions? Earl, you have a question?
Good, I got two for you. Going back to this video here, Sylvia wanted to make a wall up on the top and then come down one more again. You know how much it's gonna cost her? Right now, I look at the mountain, it looks solid. I can only suggest it, we should have one probably about from the property line, maybe 100 feet, one wall, that's all. You know what I mean? One solid wall, maybe 10 feet high or something. That's about if they're gonna have to do. I don't want you to go make up there. When you go up there, you're loosen up the rocks. You know what I mean? Something else. As far as it is now, it looks solid, but you can put down where, 100 feet away from the, the property line. But yeah, that's all I think about. Think about that. Okay. The other thing about I'm talking about now is a siren. You know how important a siren is?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh? Okay. I'm talking to you about now for a valley. I cannot hear a siren, okay?
Yeah.
So you gotta do something about it.
Yeah.
Now, in Maui, when they had the fire, the siren never run.
Right.
And the director said he has no regret. Okay? You think if the siren was on, how many lives you think would have been saved? You think about the guys who got burned. They're not talking nothing about the guys who got burned. They're talking about how much damage. I look at them, it's terrible. Now they're blaming Hawaiian Electric or whatever. They should have cut the bushes long time ago. But I'm talking about if the siren were running, how many lives would have been saved? You think how much you think?
Well, I can't say.
Roughly one, common sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Huh? You can think yourself that you was up there and then before you know it, you see only smoke. And before you know the fire right behind and you get cooked. You know how suffering that is for getting burnt? But nobody talk about that. Okay? Now the director says now that I have no regret that the siren,
Earl,
so
what's the
tsunami.
question?
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Let me talk. Okay? Now, if I were there and they said it was only for tsunami, and I see the fire coming up from there, the road over here, I'll pull up for a siren. You know what I mean?
Well, I think.
Common sense, you're gonna do this here, right?
Yeah,
A lot of people don't know
agree with
nothing.
you, Earl.
Huh?
So I agree with you, Earl.
Yeah.
I think the state and Maui County agrees with you too, because they changed the policy, right? They say, look, like the sirens for wildfire or any emergency now. So I think they realized that it was a mistake. The director guy, he says what he says. He'll have to face the
No,
consequences. for that.
I'll tell you exactly. I assume is that the people that who was in charge of pulling the siren, it didn't ring, I assume enough. I'll tell you why. The Hawaiian electric pole went down. So they had no electricity to run the siren. Okay? Think about it now. Let you find out for me for that now. Okay? And then the second thing about them, every building has a battery backup. Okay? So you pull up, if the power electric pole went down,
Earl, you made this point in a previous meeting.
okay?
That could be a private conversation.
Yeah,
We should
and I
No, I
think,
said-
forward.
I
I'm
think
telling
the
him
hours-
exactly why that's not number around.
I'm going to excuse,
We'll make sure the one over here
Huh?
arrives. We'll make sure it's fixed.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Rep. Sayama.
All right, well, hey,
listen,
uh,
Earl.
hey,
enough is
God, be
enough.
quiet, man, bro.
No. Enough
We
is
gotta
enough. I'm
move forward.
going to excuse the representative. Thank you for appearing here, person. We appreciate that. And I'd like to proceed on and say that Senator
Second.
Ihara can't make it because he's ill tonight. He has a cold, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Thank you very much, everybody. The meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.